Hi, I'm Kirby Allison, and we love to help the well-dressed take care of their wardrobes. Today I'm here with Hanns Rendenbach, the fourth generation of the JR Rendenbach tanning family, and we're in the heart of his tannery, the tanning pits. This is where for 150 years almost his family has been tanning carefully vegetable tan, oak bark, leather outsoles. This is where the magic happens. And today, we're here and you're going to share with us, a little bit more about kind of the oak bark tanning process and really everything that goes into the production of such special and such high quality leather outsoles.
Yes. Kirby, welcome again. And it's absolutely true what you say. It's from the beginning on, the process is very, very exotic. It's very, very special. We have to be always careful to find the right products, you find the right process, and it starts to find the right raw material. And in our times, it's very, very difficult to find this material because you know that the raw material market changes and you have a lot of new situations. And so we are very happy that we found some years ago a new supplier for the thicker hides, which are very, very important for us for the good welted shoes and for the higher thicknesses of the leather soles, also for the shoe repair. And so we buy the most expensive and the highest quality hides you can get. Hides from, let me say, lucky animals, because they stay all over the year in the mountains. Very special hides, and they are very fine in the fiber structure, very close, and they have a very nice grain because they are the result of a careful animal husbandry. And they come by lorry to Trier, and then we control it, and then we start with our water workshop. And
so one of the things I think that's really interesting is that the number of vegetable tanneries has diminished dramatically over the past few decades, with the rise of chrome tan, which is a much more chemical-based process. It's faster, you can produce less expensive skins. But setting that aside, even within vegetable tanning, the way that you guys are approaching vegetable tanning is completely different than a vegetable tanner that is doing uppers, where they want French calf, it's a young animal, it's a thin leather. But you guys, JR Rendenbach is having to really seek out, skins that are totally different. It's thick, old animals that have been grazing for many years.
Yes, and we need these special kind of hides we have to use in the tannery, and as you mentioned, we have a totally different system of tannage. You can tan with the help of high concentrated extracts, you can with high concentrated liquors, you can tan vegetable sole leather in some weeks. And we are on the totally other side of the scale, we need until 1 year. And so we have to look very careful, very slow to the process. Not only starting in the water workshop, we have to be very careful with the fiber structure because we don't want that it breaks. So we let it like it is, like it was at the animal. And we go into the tannage process. We have the dissection, we have the submersion pit, we have the normal pit. And every step we always need a lot of time. And so when you see the difference between some weeks and until 1 year, it makes a completely different network between the fiber structure and the vegetable tanning agent. And all the advantages which are typical for the JR leather are a result of these special long time.
Yep. And so you guys have been using this process for 150 years. It's been around, of course, for much longer than that because it was already in existence whenever your great-grandfather started tanning. Yes. But to this day, you're still just using oak bark, different types of bark, literally from trees, that you showed us earlier.
Yes, we still use the oak bark, as my great-grandfather started with. We use the spruce bark coming from the south of Germany, or the black forest. Then we use the mimosa bark coming from Africa. We use the vallonea, this is a fruit coming from the Turkey. And every bark or fruit has a special task. You can tan firm, you can tan more flexible. So every tan does its job during the tanning process, but it is very important that you know that you have the right recipe, that the result at the end of the story is what the consumer and the shoe repair shops and the shoe manufacturers want as quality, because of the long term of tannage. If you change something, you have to know what it is at the end.
For all intents and purposes,
yes,
the only chemicals that you're using, I mean, you're not using any chemicals. It's just, you know, those 4 different types of barks, you know, that you guys are throwing into the pits with the leather. You know, we saw you kind of layer the hides in between, you know, you know, those oak barks.
That is the reason why we have to know exactly how it works with the barks, because we, as an example, we use the spruce bark. Spruce bark contains a lot of sugar, and this sugar splits over in an acid range during the tanning process. That means we don't need the chemical to get an acid range to 3.5 or 4 pH. This works with the spruce bark. So we try, for every process, we try to find a natural thing. So we need much more time, but it works.
But by taking your time and allowing the leather, you know, to mature and to tan, you know, in the tanning liquids or the tanning spirits, you know, you're producing a final product that is also longer lasting because of the work that goes into it.
As a result of the long tannage, we have a fiber structure which is very firm, very dense. And so this leads to a very high resistance to abrasion, to a very high water resistance. And the only way to come on this aim is to use this method. You can accelerate the process, and you have a lot of advantage if you do it, price and time and all these things, because you have to know that there are 3 very important disadvantages we have. We need a long time, we need a lot of place, we need a lot of material. That means we need a lot of capital. But all these things together, for us, are worse because of the quality to do it.
Yeah, and you know, we're sitting on top of, you know, you have over 100 pits right here.
Yeah.
You know, where we have, you know, different leathers tanning, you know, in their oak bark, you know, water.
Yeah.
And, you know, it takes, you know, anywhere from 3 to 6 months in the ground.
Yes.
You know, plus an additional 3 months of preparation to create the leather.
Before and after, yes. And it's very important for us that we have all the material on stock. We have a separated stock where we have bands and where we have shoulders when we want to send out the leather. But when you get special orders or something like this. But the problem is, we need all the different thicknesses and all the different flexibilities we need in the pits, because when the demand changes, we don't have the time because of the long tanning time. We cannot change it so fast. So we have to have it here, that we open the pits and then we work it out and then we can send it.
Yeah. And so, you know, you're putting, you know, over 150 years, you know, of legacy, you know, into the JR outsoles. You know, that's really incredible whenever you think of, you know, one of the things that has always, you know, fascinated me with bespoke shoes or really high quality footwear, you know, it's just the idea that you have, you know, craftsmanship and artisanship going into a product that's still being made the same way today as it was, you know, 50, 100 years ago. And I can't think of a better example of that tradition being honored, you know, than what you're doing right here in this pit room.
Yes, it is. We as we discussed, we changed things, machinery, which for us have no, let me say, difference in the result of the qualities. There we can change things, but the main part of the oak bark we never will change, because then we become another level of quality, and then we can close the tannery, because then we lose our niche. So that means we are very stringent in the controlling of the quality, and that's the only aim, the only result what we have to look for. And we are very happy about this, that this quality is, let me say, the quality the famous shoe repair shops and the handmade shoe makers and shoe manufacturers want to use.
Of all the rooms in the tannery, this room right here has changed the least over the last 150 years.
No, this room was destroyed after the Second World War by a bomb, and my father rebuilt it, but all the pits has been full of leather, and after the war he opens the pits and he starts to make business again. and there was no damage with the leather was fine, so he starts again. And it's absolutely true. If you have a look here and you don't look for special machinery, then you can say 100 years ago it was the same look, so he changed nothing.
Yeah. So if your great-grandfather or if your grandfather were to walk in this room today, do you think they'd recognize this?
When he wouldn't look to the machinery, I think he remember his past time, and it's not a changing, and even the smell is the same, and the smell for us is very important, because if you walk with vegetable tanning agents and with water, and this becomes then into an acid range, so you have a special smell. And if you take the full sole and you smell it, it's exactly what we now smell here in the pit yard, a little bit higher concentrated, but you smell the vegetable agents, you smell the thyme, and you smell the water.
Yeah. So I want to speak a little bit about the fact that you shared with me earlier that, you know, JR Rendenbach is one of the few remaining family-owned, historic family-owned businesses here in Germany. 150 years, I'm sure, you know, it's a very small fraternity of other businesses that have been under family ownership and family control for that long. You know, talk to me a little bit about the sense of responsibility you have to kind of continuing what is a really magnificent legacy of your family, and how you feel like you protect that.
That's a very, Kirby, this is a very, very serious, very interesting question. But I think I have, and I told you, in my neighborhood, and I found a lot of companies which have to close because the next generation decided to do another job. And the companies has been very successful, but nobody wants to go on, so they stopped. And the problem nowadays is you have to find people which are interested to do this job. And the luck for me, for my generation, was that, and I have to say it again, my father died very suddenly, so I closed my study in Cologne, the business, and I started to come back here to Trier. And for me, this was the right decision, because my passion is to produce a product which you can use for a very good shoes, because I like shoes. And for me it was a great, let me say, a great work to travel around the world and to bring the idea of the oak bark leather for a high-end shoe to the customers. And it was a wonderful job for me, and I liked it perfect. So if you have the next generation now, you must be sure it is not a question, in my opinion, of responsibility, because if the next generation comes and they don't like it and they don't have the feeling to be a tanner, and this is something very, very special, then it makes no sense. So for me, the most important thing is that the next generation has a passion, understand what we have done in the last 4 generations, has an idea what can I do in the next generation, how I can translate the tradition in the future, to find the right market and to enjoy this job. And when there is a possibility and we find it, and I hope my nephew will do it, and I'm sure, then it is fine for me. But there is responsibility to the 4 generations before is difficult, because this is not enough to find the energy for this job. Mm-hmm. It was a great luck for me that my sister came after a long time back from Munich to Trier, and after a certain time she decided to start in the Tannery to help me. And for me it is a great, great luck, because she makes a wonderful job, and it's not because she's my sister. That was not the reason that she is here. She's here while she is very good. She makes a very, very good job. And for me it's a very good feeling. I have to travel a lot, and I'm more than 4 months a year not here in Trier. I'm always traveling. So I need a person I can, let me say, trust 100%. And when I'm on the road, it doesn't matter in the United States or in Germany or wherever, I can be 100% sure here is the labor the same when I would be here or not. And this is a very important thing.
And it's her son, then your nephew, that is actually, started working the factory.
Yes, and he now, he closed school and now he is studying economics in the Netherlands, and he is now in Maastricht, and a very international university, a very good one. And he is very, very interested to do this job further on. And so we will see when he closes his studium in Maastricht. We will see what perhaps he can travel a little around the world, see a little bit about the market, and when we stay in a good condition, my sister and me, he has time, some years, and perhaps he can go on, we will see.
Yeah.
Good.
Great. Hey, Hanns, thank you so much for having me.
Kirby, thanks a lot for coming.
If you enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up, and please subscribe to our channel and turn on your notifications by clicking the bell to the right of the subscribe button so that you can learn whenever we release new videos. If you have any questions or comments about anything we discussed on this video, please ask them in the comments section below. And of course, please visit hangerproject.com, where we have the largest, most comprehensive collection of luxury garment care and shoe care accessories in the world, as well as many other incredible products for the well-dressed. And while you are there, subscribe to our newsletter to receive notifications of new product launches, promotions, as well as a weekly digest of all the videos we publish here on our YouTube channel.